Welcome, class. Now we are going to revise the poem Fire and Ice written by Robert Frost. Before we begin the poem, let us know something about the poet. Robert Frost was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in the United States. Known for his realistic depictions of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech, he frequently wrote about settings from rural life in New England in the early 20th century, using them to examine complex social and philosophical themes. He was honored frequently during his lifetime, and he is the only person to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. Even he became America's rare public literary figure also. And he was supposed to be an artistic institution in himself. In 1960, for his poetic works, he was given this gold medal called Congregational Gold Medal. On July 22, 1961, Frost was named Poet Laureate of Vermont. Now, theme of the poem Fire and Ice. The poet, through this poem, wants to impress upon us, the readers, the destructive effects of bearing ill feelings like hate, greed, lust, conflict, fury, coldness, intolerance, etc. He writes that if all these things or any of these things are there in humans, then what results we'll be facing? This poem also gives a message to live peacefully and with love. Now, explanation of the poem. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. The poet here says, a few people are of the view that the world, if ever it will be ending, if ever it is going to end, it will certainly end in fire. And there is also a group of people which says that the world will end in ice. Poet here then says, from what I have tasted of desire, but what my experiences of desires are, I hold with those who favor fire. I support those people who favor fire, who favor this phenomena, this idea that the world is going to end in fire. Fire here expresses, shows, symbolizes excessive desire. And ice here shows hatred. Okay, hatred which we have amongst us. So, poet wants to say here that there is excessive desire in the world, that world will certainly end because of this, because this desire is the cause of problems like wars and other things. There's diplomatic things as well. And he also says that a few people believe that the world is going to end in ice because there is enough of hate in the world. Then he's telling that from what I have tasted of desire, that what my experiences of excessive desires are, I hold with those who favor fire. I support the people, I support the group of the people which says that the world is going to end in fire. But if it had to perish twice, but if there is another cause of the ending of the world going to be, or if the world is going to end twice, I think I know enough of hate. Then I'm sure that I know that there is enough of hate in the world to say that for destruction, ice is also great. And I affirm here that to destroy the world, ice is also great. Ice here is hatred. Hatred also is great. Here he says, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great. hatred, hate is also equally responsible for the world's end and would suffice, and it will be sufficient. Ice also is capable enough to end the world. So, writer here wants to say that if the world is going to end, then either it will die because of the excessive desires or the human greed, or it will perish, or it will end because of hate. He's calling that there is enough of hate amongst us that the world will certainly end because of this. And he also says that we have excessive desire to own things, that the world will also end because of that as well, because it is causing different kinds of problems between countries. Now comes figures of speeches used in this poem. First one is assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, and it can be in different places. Okay, so when we go back here, then we see that here O, 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 O. So here we have assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds in a line. Second one is alliteration. It is repetition of consonant sounds. And the example is given here in the poem, those who favor fire. We see here F and F, those who favor fire. Then the third one is imagery. Imagery, it's a kind of figure of speech which is used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. Means the readers visualize things whatever are written in the form of lines. For example, given here, some say the world will end in fire. We immediately start thinking about ending of the world. To say that for destruction, ice is also great. Then another one is anaphora. Anaphora is the repetition or expression at the start of two or more consecutive lines. So let us see where we have anaphora here. So we can see here some and some. So here we have anaphora. Figure of speech, anaphora, because we have same word here in two consecutive lines. The next one is personification. To give human quality to inanimate objects. In this poem, fire and ice, these two things are considered to be capable of destruction. So these two things are personified throughout the poem. So figure of speech, personification. The last which we have is enjambment. Enjambment is a figure of speech in which one idea, one thought, or a clause that does not come to an end at a line break. It means one line doesn't finish here itself, no comma, no full stop will be found here, and the idea will be continued in the second line it's also, and then it will finish, or may be it continues to the third line as well. Let us see where we have enjambment here. So we can see here, to say that for destruction, ice is also great. Here the line is finishing. Okay, ice is also great here. Okay, this idea is continued here also. So we have figure of speech, enjambment here. Fine. Now let us quickly recapitulate the poem. The poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost is about the hypothetical end of the world. This is only hypothesis proposed by people that world is going to end. With the poet telling that it will be destroyed either by fire or ice. Poet is giving two views, that the reason of the end of the world will be either fire or ice. Fire is excessive desire or greed, ice is hatred. According to the poet, fire and ice are equally destructive in nature. Through the medium of this poem, poet establishes that through love and understanding, world can be made a better place to live in. And we human beings are responsible for this thing, to make the world a better place. For us also, and for the upcoming generations as well. The fire here represents excessive desire and ice, hatred. or coldness in relations, an attitude towards each other which we have, cold attitude. According to him, these two things are sufficient enough to end the world. They are capable enough to do this thing. That was all for this poem. Thank you everyone for watching.